Tonight, the Supreme Court has delivered a landmark ruling, one that will be studied for years to come and could reshape the balance of power in Washington. The justices, after months of deliberation and intense public debate, have issued a decision that directly challenges the limits of presidential authority in economic matters. The court has blocked the sweeping tariffs imposed by former President Donald Trump, tariffs that affected hundreds of billions of dollars in imported goods and sent shockwaves through global markets. These tariffs, which were justified as measures to protect national security and American jobs, have now been deemed unconstitutional by the nation's highest court. This case was a fundamental test of presidential power. Can a president enact broad economic policy without direct approval from Congress? The Trump administration argued that the president must have flexibility to act swiftly in times of economic uncertainty or international tension. But critics warned that unchecked executive action could undermine the very foundations of American democracy. The court's decision sends a clear message about the separation of powers, a cornerstone of our democracy. By reinforcing the need for checks and balances, the justices have reaffirmed that no single branch of government can act unilaterally when it comes to major economic decisions that impact millions of Americans. The ruling specifically invalidates tariffs imposed under Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act and the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, or IEEPA. These laws were originally designed to give the president tools to respond to emergencies, but the court found their use in this context to be an overreach. By classifying the tariffs as a form of tax, the court determined the president had overstepped his authority. According to the Constitution, only Congress has the power to levy taxes, and this decision reasserts that critical principle. This decision could significantly limit how future presidents respond to economic threats, forcing closer collaboration with Congress. It sets a precedent that will likely shape how economic policy is crafted and implemented for generations, requiring more negotiation and compromise between the executive and legislative branches. Businesses that paid these tariffs are now seeking refunds, a process involving billions of dollars and potentially years of legal wrangling. For many companies, this ruling could mean a lifeline as they try to recover from the financial strain caused by the tariffs. Government officials are scrambling to assess the financial and logistical consequences. The Treasury Department and other agencies must now determine how to process refund claims, adjust budgets, and respond to the sudden change in trade policy. International trading partners are watching closely to see how the U.S. will adjust its economic posture. Allies and rivals alike are recalibrating their own strategies, as America's approach to trade and tariffs enters a new era of oversight and accountability. We'll break down what this means for you, for businesses, and for workers across the country. From the prices you pay at the store to the stability of your job, the effects of this decision will ripple through every corner of the economy. Stay with us as we explore the implications for the country's future, the evolving relationship between the branches of government, and the new rules of the road for American trade and economic policy. At the core of this case was a constitutional question: who sets taxes in the United States? Article 1, Section 8 gives Congress the power to levy taxes and tariffs. Businesses argued the president used emergency powers to create a massive tax program, violating the separation of powers. The Trump administration cited the IEEPA, claiming unfair trade practices justified emergency action. The Supreme Court sided with Congress, ruling that emergency powers cannot be used to bypass the Constitution's explicit instructions. The decision reaffirms Congress as the architect of economic laws, reshaping the balance of power in Washington. The ruling clarifies that future presidents must work with Congress on major trade actions. To understand the ruling, it's important to know what these tariffs were. Starting in 2018, the Trump administration imposed heavy tariffs on billions of dollars worth of imports, especially from China. The goal? Protect American industries from unfair foreign competition by making imports more expensive. These tariffs affected thousands of products, from electronics to steel. Critics warned the tariffs acted as a tax on American consumers and businesses, not foreign governments. Companies faced higher costs, often passing them on to customers. The legal challenge argued that such a widespread tax required congressional approval. This set the stage for the Supreme Court showdown. For American importers, the Supreme Court's decision is more than just a headline. It's a moment of profound relief and hope. After years of uncertainty and financial strain, this ruling marks a turning point for thousands of businesses across the country. For years, businesses bore the direct financial burden of the tariffs, often forced to make difficult choices like laying off workers, cutting back on hours, or raising prices just to stay afloat. The impact rippled through communities, affecting not only business owners but also employees and customers. Many importers meticulously documented every tariff payment, building the legal case for refunds. They spent countless hours gathering receipts, organizing paperwork, and consulting with legal experts, all in the hope that one day justice would be served. Now, with the tariffs invalidated, the path is finally clear for the government to repay billions collected. This isn't just a financial transaction, it's a recognition of the hardship endured by these businesses and a chance to restore what was lost. Importers argue the refund process is manageable thanks to detailed customs records and years of careful documentation. They've prepared for this moment, ensuring every payment is accounted for and every claim is backed by evidence. To them, this is basic accounting, not chaos. With organized records and experienced staff, they're ready to navigate the refund process efficiently and effectively. For these companies, refunds mean a vital cash infusion after years of extra costs. It's a chance to stabilize their finances, pay off debts, and plan for the future with renewed confidence. This financial relief could allow them to rehire workers, invest in new equipment, expand operations, and even lower prices for consumers, benefiting not just businesses, but entire communities. The decision is about correcting a wrong, not disrupting the economy. It's a step toward fairness and stability, ensuring that the rules are followed and businesses are treated justly. For importers, it's a long-awaited vindication, a sign that perseverance and careful record-keeping can pay off, and that justice, though delayed, is finally delivered. The Supreme Court's decision creates a massive challenge for the U.S. government. The Treasury has collected hundreds of billions from these tariffs, money already spent. Now, the government faces the daunting prospect of paying it back. Officials warn that processing thousands of refund claims could strain resources and the federal budget. The loss of tariff revenue creates a hole in future budget plans. Lawmakers must now decide whether to raise other taxes, cut spending, or increase the national debt. The ruling also forces a reevaluation of U.S. trade strategy. Without unilateral tariffs, the executive branch must rely more on diplomacy and congressional approval. The decision is both a financial and strategic turning point for America's global economic role. Former President Trump and his supporters defended the tariffs as a financial boon and a tool to revive American manufacturing. They argued tariffs would generate trillions in revenue, strengthen the nation's finances, and incentivize companies to bring jobs back to the U.S. Supporters claimed the policy protected American workers from unfair foreign competition. Trump even floated using tariff revenue for rebates to American families. The tariffs were framed as a pillar of the America First agenda. Supporters warned that overturning the policy would have dire economic consequences. Critics argued the tariffs were a hidden tax on American consumers and businesses. Economists noted that importers, not foreign exporters, paid the tariffs, and most costs were passed to customers. Prices rose on everyday items, hitting lower and middle-income families hardest. Small businesses struggled with higher costs, layoffs, and even closures. The legal challenge was rooted in this real-world financial harm. The Supreme Court's decision validates the argument that the tariff's burden was unfair and lacked proper legal authority. For many, the ruling is a victory for consumers and small businesses. Supporters also argued tariffs were about national security, not just economics. The administration claimed reliance on foreign goods, especially from China, was a dangerous vulnerability. They invoked emergency powers, framing tariffs as essential for national defense. Critics questioned whether this was a legitimate use of emergency laws or a pretext for protectionism. Many tariffs targeted allies, undermining the national security argument. The Supreme Court found the connection too weak, ruling that broad threats to economic security don't justify bypassing Congress. The decision limits the president's ability to use national security as a catch-all justification for trade actions. The Supreme Court's decision marks a new chapter for American trade policy, one that could have ripple effects across the globe. This landmark ruling is more than just a legal milestone. It signals a fundamental shift in how the United States approaches its economic relationships and the rules that govern them. The immediate task at hand is refunding billions of dollars to importers, providing a much-needed lifeline to businesses that have struggled under the weight of tariffs. For many small and medium-sized companies, this relief could mean the difference between survival and closure, allowing them to reinvest in their operations and workforce. The ruling also forces future presidents to work closely with Congress on major trade actions, restoring the checks and balances that are central to American democracy. This collaboration could lead to more transparent and predictable trade policies, giving both businesses and trading partners greater confidence in the U.S. system. Internationally, America's allies may welcome a shift away from confrontational trade policies. A more cooperative approach could strengthen alliances, encourage fairer negotiations, and help rebuild trust that has been tested in recent years. However, the U.S. will still need new strategies to address ongoing tensions with countries like China. The path forward will require careful diplomacy, innovative economic policies, and a willingness to adapt to a rapidly changing global landscape. For American consumers, the removal of tariffs could gradually lead to lower prices on a wide range of goods, from electronics to everyday essentials. This change may ease the burden on household budgets and boost consumer confidence. With greater stability, businesses may regain the confidence to invest in growth, expand their operations, and create new jobs. This renewed optimism could spark innovation and drive the next wave of American economic success. Still, the debate over globalization and America's economic role in the world is far from settled. Questions about fairness, competition, and national security will continue to shape the conversation for years to come. It's important to remember that this ruling wasn't about whether tariffs are good or bad policy, but about who has the authority to make such decisions. The court has clarified the boundaries of executive power in trade matters. The court's answer has reshaped the landscape of American power and trade for years to come, ushering in a new era filled with both challenges and opportunities for the nation and the world.